In case you've been living under a rock the past few weeks, the election drama is heating up, and former President Trump miraculously survived an assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. And yes, the Democrats have been debating removing President Biden as their candidate. Welcome to 2024. We are in election year and things are heating up. Will the Democrats replace Biden with someone else? If so, will it be Gavin Newsom, Elizabeth Warren, Michelle Obama? Who knows? Both Trump and Biden have made interesting statements about what they will do if they are elected president, and we both know they both could work on their golf game. Today, I'm going to discuss what Trump recently said about income taxes, and here's a hint, he doesn't like them very much. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so what exactly did Trump say? In a meeting with GOP lawmakers at the Capitol Hill Club in June, Trump suggested that if he is elected president in November, he will do away with federal income taxes entirely and replace them with what is known as a tariff policy. This would be a complete paradigm shift for the taxation policy that we currently have in America. I'm going to break down exactly what this would mean so that you have a better idea ahead of time in case Trump does become our president and we're looking at a major tax overhaul. If this does end up happening, we could be saving a massive amount of money in taxes, and you know I'm here for it. So first things first, what the heck is a tariff? You may remember the word tariff from like some random history class you took in high school. However, a lot of people do not fully understand what that word means and how it works. So let Uncle Karlton help you out. Here's the deal. A tariff is a tax that is imposed by one country on the goods or services imported by another country. So to understand how this works, let's look at a little example here. Tariff example number 1. The United States wants to generate more tax revenue while relieving tax burden for its citizens. So it decides to put a 3% tariff on automobiles imported from other countries. So a car dealer in America that would normally sell a brand new Maserati imported from Italy for $100,000 would have to sell it for $103,000. This gives the extra $3,000 to the US government. So when tariffs are put into place, certain foreign goods that are imported into the United States become more expensive. What does that mean? Are tariffs good? Are they bad? Ever since Trump floated this tax change, many people are wondering whether they are beneficial or detrimental. Let's discuss this so you can kind of form your own opinions here. Right off the bat, if people don't have to pay federal income taxes anymore, guys, this would eliminate an incredible amount of paperwork, stress, and headaches related to tax preparation and compliance. It would be a dream. This would mean fewer tax forms to file, fewer receipts to keep track of, fewer barriers to entry from accounting perspectives for people trying to set up new businesses. I mean, the list just goes on. Just think about it. Just imagine not having to file federal income taxes. How crazy would that be? All that time, energy, and money that people spend compiling all those federal tax documents to stay in compliance with federal tax law can now be spent just making more money. That is amazing. But the other side of the coin is that the price of many goods in America, they would rise, and it's already felt like it's been rising. I mean, have you guys felt the heat of inflation lately? It's been absolutely absurd. If you're in the middle or lower income household, you're struggling right now to afford the price of goods and services like clothing, vehicle, machinery, food as is. But if you're someone who is leaning towards this argument, just remember that even if prices for imported goods go up, federal income tax burdens would still drop to zero. And when it comes to many types of goods, there's often an American supplier that would not have a tariff placed on it. This is another reason why Trump values tariffs. Placing tariffs on imported goods makes American produced goods more competitive in the marketplace. And for this reason, a tariff-based tax policy is often referred to as a protectionist approach. In regards to the tariff situation, it might also interest you to know that tariffs have been a major part of American history. In fact, prior to 1913, when the modern day income tax was established, tariffs was one of the many ways that the federal government was funded. Many of Americans' early politicians viewed tariffs as a viable way to fund the federal government without having to place a federal income tax on the American people and siphoning money out of everybody's paychecks. Yes, federal income taxes were levied during emergency situations such as the Civil War. However, for the most part, funding for the federal government came from tariffs and excise taxes and things such as like tobacco and alcohol sales. This is how America operated for 14 decades. So even though using tariffs as a primary way to fund federal governments seems like a completely radical idea for many people in today's day and age, this is how our founding fathers ran things back then. So will this approach work? At this time, it's unclear whether or not Trump will move forward with this plan or whether he will even win the presidential election. However, during his presidency, President Trump successfully imposed tariffs or imposed steel, aluminum, and certain other goods that resulted in tens of billions of dollars of additional revenue for the US federal government. He did have some wins while he was in office. It's possible that one of the main reasons why Trump likes tariffs is because he feels that it gives him more, negotiating power when dealing with foreign countries. That's what they do to us. After all, tariffs are a way to exert influence without having to resort to military violence. Whether or not Trump completely replaces income taxes with tariffs is truly yet to be determined. But regardless of whether he does this or not, it is highly likely that he will use tariffs in his second presidency, just like he did during his first presidency if he wins. What does all this mean for you and I? If a switch does end up happening to an all-tariff, no federal income tax policy, then it will dramatically affect the finances of nearly every tax-paying American in the United States. We would no longer have to worry about the I, the R, and the S. This alone would be a blessing for millions of Americans and myself. But it is true that you would have to spend more on goods. You could potentially mitigate some of that extra cost by finding American-based suppliers for a majority of the goods that you need to buy, but keep in mind, the prices might go up. Also keep in mind that if you happen to own a business that exports goods that other countries could choose to retaliate to tariffs by adding tariffs of their own. So your goods might become more expensive in other nations as well. You might want to consider factoring in this into your business plan if you own a business that does business with other countries. What other tax changes can we expect though? I mean, the tariffs is nice, but is there anything else that would hit? The first time that Trump was in office, Trump's administration brought about sweeping changes to the tax code that were mostly laid out in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, also known as the TCJA. But within this bill, there were a number of major tax cuts, such as the reduction of the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. The TCJA also slashed federal income tax rates for individuals, and many of the provisions in the TCJA are set to expire in 2025, like bonus depreciation. So if Trump does get into office, it is likely that he could try to extend the TCJA, or if he can't get a new bill passed, that also results in significant tax cuts. But Trump's attitude towards taxation in America so far has mostly been that it is too high and he wants to lower it and he doesn't really see a need for it. This is one of the main reasons why he is loved by many people throughout the nation who feel that taxes are just too high. The lower the tax rates are, the less money that comes out of your paycheck and the more you get to keep and spend on yourself and your family, and that seems like what Trump is for. The bottom line is that we have to fund the federal government somehow, but there could be real changes to the federal policy that could come in the form of tariffs that could result in them being funded. And that could be right around the corner if Trump's elected. I want you guys to let me know what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts on Trump's proposal? What are your thoughts on everything that's going on? What are your thoughts on whether or not taxes should be imposed on us? Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think that it's a harmful idea for us to go to a completely all-tariff nation? Also, let me know who you think is going to win the election. I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are in the comments below. Before I let you go, don't forget to sign up for the Tax-Free Wealth Challenge kicking off August 5th through August 9th. We are going to spend 5 days going over all the advanced tax strategies that I teach at my firm, Tax Alchemy. I would love for you to be there, but tickets are selling out, so make sure you grab one. I'll see you there.